Alright, for this next video, I think I'm going to talk about how much my views have changed on a lot, um, and and it's largely because, on one hand, I just kind of like let go of some of the more far right views, as well as listening to different people. Like, I've been listening to a YouTuber called Deep Left Jakul. You should check him out. But I would say now I'm more and more moving towards minoritarianism. And I guess how I describe minoritarianism, it's kind of similar to the Marxist view of history or the world, but this one is like with throughout history there's been three types of elites: a priestly, a warrior, or a merchant class. And it's really just been that for most of history. It doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what you believe. It kind of discredits populism in some ways. So it doesn't matter if you agree with it or not agree with it. It's just a fact that there has always been elites since forever ago. So what I'm trying to say is that what am I trying to say? That as of right now, with this whole right-wing populism gig, it's going to fail ultimately. You can already see it with Nicholas J. Fuentes and how that's imploding. You can see it with the QAnon MAGA people. You can see it with the Wignats. It's all going to fail. Like the right, dissident right, cannot win. I'm sorry, it cannot. And as of right now, there is no solution. However, I do believe that those who will truly succeed in the end, and those who will win, are those who can create a new minoritarian kind of elite that can sort of integrate themselves into the present system while still keeping on to their identity, so that one day they can overthrow it. And a good example of this would be, let's look at the Germanic tribes, during kind of the fall of Rome or the later parts of Rome. They didn't just go off and let's rise up and overthrow the Romans. No, for at least 100 or 200 or so years, they were integrating themselves into the Roman system, into the military. They were becoming generals. They were becoming probably even I forgot what those dudes are. Oh my god, maybe Centaurians. Maybe, probably, as well. But they were given the rank of, or the status of patrician, while these high-ranking Germanic tribe chieftains were. So, no, they were actually integrating themselves pretty well into it. So they didn't just say, let's rise up and fight Rome. If they did, they would have got killed. They would have got genocided. So that's kind of more my way of thinking now. So I guess what I'm going to do, I'm planning on joining, hopefully, in a way, the priestly caste. And what that is would be like the academics. Because in America and the West, liberalism, progressivism is almost like a religion. And kind of practicing a form of cryptism where secretly I have my right-leaning beliefs. On the outside, I'm like, oh yes, all these leftists saying so wonderful, woohoo. But I feel like first things first is that you're going to need to create some sort of minoritarianism and lead to creating a new elite, and then maybe someday you can have your populism. But I almost see that 100 years or even 200 years. Just because America is having all these problems, Rome had so many problems. There's probably plenty of times when people thought, oh, Rome's gonna fall. And then ends up lasting another 100 or 200 years. So this whole entire idea of like, it's gonna collapse, bro. It's gonna collapse. Populism, we're all gonna rise up. No, and I think whether it's the Pat Sox, whether it's the fascists, whether it's the nationalists, America First, conservatives, paleocons, whoever the hell they are, neo-reactionaries as well. I mean, they say they know things about, they know everything about elite power and like about that, but that's not really true. I mean, I think really they're just autistic. They get, you know, and that's, I think, a good critique of the right, that they are just autistic people. But yeah, I don't think in this century the right is going to win, and I think that's foolish to think they are. You know, I don't. So I think that's my point of view. I think minoritarianism, those who can grab on and join a minoritarian thing, like it can either be religion, it can be like really anything, I guess, really. But, you know, so idea of like, I'm gonna identify as a white person. Whiteness is, in some ways, is going out the window, especially with automation. Automation will ultimately end the middle class. You know, I mean, there's some people who believe that it will wipe out at least almost half of the working population, which will only affect white people, will also affect minorities and stuff as that as well. All I'm saying is, like, the ones who will survive will have some sort of minoritarian identity that they are with, you know. So that's my point of view.